In this video, I'll cover 3 highly effective verbal skills of truly charismatic people. Skill number 1, analogies, similes, and metaphors. If your main message that you're conveying in a conversation is the main dish, the main meal, the protein, the carbs, the fats, then analogies, similes, and metaphors are the spices that make everything taste way better. Let's look at the first clip.
Good morning, Gretchen. How are you this
I'm busy, Louis, just like you better get, which is what I'm doing here. There are 16 other things waiting for you in your office. You got lunch with Sheila at 1, and I don't know what the hell...
Stop right there. You need to reschedule half of those things.
That brings me to the last thing. I gotta go to the dentist.
What?
I need to go to the dentist. That would perfectly suffice in this situation. I have something planned, I have to be there. And just a side note, as a dentist myself, do not miss your dentist appointment. You do not know what kind of consequences it has. Our schedules are packed, and if you don't show up when time is reserved for you, we are not able to help somebody else. So, side note to that. If she just said, I need to go to the dentist, perfectly fine, that's it.
There, you need to reschedule half of those things.
That brings me to the last thing. I gotta go to the dentist.
What?
However, look at how she spices up the entire conversation, how she spices up her own verbal skills by adding the following. She's going to implant an image in your mind, whether you like it or not. Let's play.
Gretchen, no, you can't leave me like this.
Did you hear me? I got a hole in my tooth the size of Colorado.
Gotta love how she put it.
Did you hear me? I got a hole in my tooth the size of Colorado.
I got a hole in my tooth the size of Colorado. Do you see how it just spices up your entire verbal communication by doing this? By adding that little simile, analogy, or metaphor. And I'm gonna tell you how you can use this effectively in your life. But let's move on to clip number 2 of the first section, which is all about analogies, similes, and metaphors.
Dmitry Sarkovsky, the CEO of Vitus One Bank, helped orchestrate and now profits from the Greek financial collapse.
Now, they're targeting and talking about a man who is wanted for
Charges including narcotics trafficking, smuggling, cybercrimes, and assassination.
And Reddington has confirmed that all of them will be in attendance at this meeting.
And who is that?
I don't know. What I do know is...
Now, you hear Raymond Reddington talk about this guy and why they need to catch him and how crucially important it is, as this is an opportunity that doesn't come by very often. Look at how he ends the conversation, enticing Lizzie, which is this woman, to go after him.
If he's called a meeting and the members are gathering, he's a very big fish.
He's calling him a very big fish.
No less than an existential threat. These meetings are infrequent, Lizzie, making this a very rare opportunity. Follow this fish, and you can net the entire school.
Follow this fish, and you will net the entire school.
Follow this fish, and you can net the entire school.
Also notice how strong his eye contact is there. Insanely strong. And this is the power of metaphors, similes, and analogies, guys. It makes something that's so complex or so abstract, bang, completely simple, because you've already have a mental model of something. Besides this, using similes, metaphors, and analogies also shows that, first of all, your verbal width, your intelligence, and again, it makes things interesting. Alright guys, as I was just coming home from work, and we're speaking about verbal dominance and using analogies, similes, and metaphors. There is this guy that I was speaking to, one of you guys actually. He was also a subscriber who wanted to do certain things for me. The thing that I showed him transformed his life. Just hold on, let me just put this into place. Alright, that's way better. So there was this very technical guy that I was speaking to, and his communication was, with all due respect, proper shit. And after he learned to communicate with more metaphors, analogies, and similes, not only did his communication go well with his peers, with his colleagues, but also with the woman that he loved, with the people that he was on a communication on a day-to-day basis, and it is something that you need to learn as well. I'll cover that full story in the full video regarding analogies, similes, and metaphors. What's important for you to know is, you're probably wondering, Cheyenne, what can I do right now, right this second after this video, to increase this skill and become a more charismatic person? That will be covered in a minute after the third clip. What you'll also hear later in the video is a very embarrassing story about my childhood. And let's move to the studio and the third clip. Let's move on to the third clip, and this is a great one. It's of Jessica Pearson, and a little context for this is, this guy, Louis Litt, hasn't been shown up to work. Somebody attacked their firm, and the reason he hasn't been going to work will be uncovered in a second, because Jessica Pearson, who is the managing partner in that firm, doesn't know this either. What is known is that someone has been covering for him. That someone is Katrina. As they're being attacked by somebody outside of the firm, who is actually a former partner called Van Dyke, Katrina passed on her own work in the name of Louis Litt, who's been staying at home. Now, you got the little context. Let's see what happens.
Oh no, and you use this on him?
I did. And then I fired Katrina.
Jessica.
I know. I can't fire her for being loyal.
Now, Jessica Pearson is an impressive woman, although she's a very masculine woman who is great at her job. In a special video that will be dedicated to her and also the alpha female, so to speak. I hate that term, by the way. In that video, I'll cover why being always in your masculine energy, so to speak, as a female is gonna be detrimental for the majority of you. There are a couple of you who will get away with this, but that's an exception, not the rule. This doesn't mean you don't need to have the ambitions. In fact, go ahead, do your thing. Again, I'll cover this more. What I want to bring home right now is this, what she just said.
I can't fire her for being loyal.
I can't fire someone for being loyal. That shows her character. As someone who wasn't in tune or ethically sound would say, well, she lied to me. I don't give a crap what the reasons is. Get out. She's a just leader, an ethical leader. She's someone who is in a position of power, deservedly so. But let's keep playing and see what happens next.
But I can't afford you sitting here licking your wounds while I get my ass handed to me.
Please just listen to me, okay? I cannot see straight. I cannot think straight. And even if I wanted to come and help you, I wouldn't be any good to you, so.
Now, she finally discovered why he hasn't been showing up to work. He's heartbroken. And if you haven't been heartbroken, I feel sad for you, because it holds truly transformative powers to be unlocked in your own mind, in your own being, in your own vision of the world, if you learn to come out of it. Besides the topic for now, as a leader, what can you do in order to, first of all, get the other person in the right state of mind, and second of all, to solve the problem that's been going on in your business? Look at how she does it wonderfully, by using this extremely highly effective, highly charismatic skill.
Louis, I know you loved Sheila.
Also note how she literally levels herself, the eye levels. She was standing, now she's sitting down, having a heart-to-heart.
But do you love your firm?
You know I do.
And when you love a woman, can you stand the thought of her being with another man?
Now, very smart. I know you love Sheila, which is the woman who was his love, and they've broken up. And now she says the firm is also a woman, so she's now saying these two things are the same thing. Keep watching.
No.
Well, Louis, Van Dyke is trying to get into Pearson Spector's pants.
Now she's painting a very clear picture, something someone who is heartbroken fears. Now we can skip the next part because he's detailing on how they can still win the case and how the problem can be solved. Look what she does. Very smart.
We can't do that by tomorrow.
Oh no, we can't do that by tomorrow. She is challenging him and evoking some kind of emotional reaction out of him.
We'd have to rewrite every contract.
Boy, wow, Jessica, you sometimes really surprise me. You don't think I know that? I have an army of associates that I've trained within an inch of their lives. My name is Louis goddamn Marlowe Litt, and my firm is under siege. So don't you tell me what I can and cannot do.
Now again, great use of analogies, similes, and metaphors. As you saw, she uplifted Louis Litt from his semi-depressed state and made him a force for good. The hurt that was there within him got overruled by anger, and that anger can be used as fuel in their life and their purpose. The same can be used in your own life. Again, that will be covered in self-mastery videos on my other channel. If you think that these media examples are not useful because they are, well, media examples and they are scripted, keep watching as I'll address this later in the video. These skills that you'll slowly but surely acquire over the course of your life if you keep watching these videos can be used for virtually every conversation. Whether you use it for verbal confrontation, when verbally insulted, slighted, or ridiculed, think about frame control, to professional settings when giving a presentation or meeting with your clients or patients, all the way to using it with friends or potential romantic partners to make fun and lighty conversations. For now, remember this. Find one metaphor, one analogy, or one simile that you could use today. However, if this is the end of the day, write something down for tomorrow, and I want you to go out actively seeking a way to apply it in your own life. This is the only way you're going to acquire verbal dominance, guys. This is the only way you're going to become a better communicator. You need to do the work in order to acquire this skill. Let's move to the second highly effective skill, frame control. I've covered many techniques in the past, covering, for example, the state-breaking question, a way to gain the frame, or at least make the frame your own.
Sit. Talking to you, Mr. Shelby. So the Oddfellows want you to know that any deviation from your instructions will have consequences.
What's your dog's name?
You visited your sister.
Hey, what's your name, boy?
However, you do not want to be the master of every frame, to come out as a winner in every conversation. That's stupidity, which I'll cover in depth in the frame control video. And that's exactly right. If you're gonna use frame control and think only short-sightedly and narrowly to dominate other people, you do not know the full extent of frame control. As you'll see in a second, Harvey Specter uses his masterful frame control to uplift the dynamic between himself and Samantha Wheeler. Now, there's a very embarrassing story that I have to tell you from when I was 14 years old. But before I do that, you're probably thinking, what the hell, what are you doing outside? We just finished a fashion reel for my Instagram page, so go check it out. 14 years old, Cheyenne. There was a new guy coming into our class, and one of the girls I was very close with in many ways, she asked me, Cheyenne, why don't you show him how to walk more confidently? Mind you, this is not the kind of confident walk that I do nowadays, that I showed you in the previous video. This was completely and utterly childish. However, 5 to 10 minutes long, I went ahead, showed the guy what to do. So guess what? I felt like the shit. Even though that back in the days, because we watched a lot of rap, we used to wear the pants a little lower. Completely embarrassing, ridiculous thing to do looking back at it. But I felt like the shit. The ladies loved me, people watched how I was teaching this guy how to walk, how to stand more confidently. But my confidence got shattered in that second by the next thing that happened. Guess what? The girl came up to me, Cheyenne, that was a great thing you did. I really liked it. However, and here's where she dropped the bomb, guys. And just think about what you would respond to if somebody does this to you. She came closer and told me, you're kind of a short guy. Now, the response that I gave her, it was absolutely phenomenal. It's a response that you can use, that I can use still to this day. But you do not want to know what happened when I gave that response. She completely crushed it. I will teach you in the next video, in the full frame control video, what my response was, what she said, and how you can come out not only as a winner yourself, but also make her a winner and everyone around you.
No! God, please, no! No!
That is a true power that frame control has. Now, if you want to dominate other people, you need to have the capacity, but that is not the goal of it. What I want you to do right now, put a response in the comment that you would actually say when someone comes up and says that to you. I promise to cover some of your responses in the next video, so you know what to do. It's time to cover the very first of the 3 clips of frame control, so let's hop back into the studio. Oh, by the way, the productivity planner is back in stock. Now, what has this got to do with this video? As you see now on the screen, you can use this to make sure that you use a simile, metaphor, or analogy in the upcoming days. You can even put in there if you want to focus on a certain body language cue. You can use it for anything to get your life in order, guys, to set a vision for yourself, to get going with your life. But I'll cover the full extent of this productivity planner in another video. Like I said, let's hop into the first clip, back to the studio. The first one is a combination. The first clip is a combination of frame control and the analogies we just covered. Listen to this.
I'm guessing by your tone that our merger is off the table?
It was never on the table.
What's this?
She's basically declaring war. You see her confrontational style right now.
It's bullshit.
Look at me.
You cripple your firm.
I will rather lose my firm.
He's trying to call her bluff, but look at how serious she is. Look at her body language. Look at the way she pierces with her eyes through his soul.
and get married staring down the barrel of a shotgun.
You're not going to be able to have my daughter in every deposition. This is 45 cases.
And it will cost you 45 times the amount that you could settle for right here.
Now, as you can see, she is using some kind of mirroring here, but that's beside this. It's going to be covered in another video. Look, her response time is just like that. And if you're saying, well, these are scripted videos, these are not real, you need to get something through your head. But I'll cover that in a second.
Yeah, I know you. The chess master. Think you're Bobby Fischer.
Look, amazing compliment, right? He is comparing her to Bobby Fischer, the best chess player in the world of his era. She's not biting into that frame. Why? Even though she got like the biggest compliment. She could have gone with, yes I am, and I'm outsmarting you. It could be a trap. Look how she responds and how she takes charge of the frame.
This isn't chess. It's dominoes.
Frame was chess. Not accepting it. Take it out of the way, even though I'm a master at chess. The reason, by the way, she's known for being a great chess master, so to speak, is she's being very strategic in her life, in her business, in her relationships. And everything she does, it's calculated. It's moving with purpose. It's moving in a direction that is just theirs. Tactics, strategies. That's what she's known for a great leadership. She's not accepting that. Let's play it again.
This isn't chess. It's dominoes. Now, the first case might be tough, but after that, one by one. And when it's all said and done, I'll be the last one standing, holding up a big fat check in my hand.
You see how she made the entire situation very, very easy to understand. 45 cases, it's not chess, it's just dominoes. I will win one of them, the rest will just topple down. Let's move to the second clip of the 3 clips I selected for this section of frame control. And this is how you can see someone losing the frame because their answer was stupid. If you learn the skills that you're about to learn.
4 hours in the van, she's eating all the crisps.
Well, she's stuck in there with you, so that's comfort eating. Have you been boring her with your cat chat again?
Have you been boring her with this and that? And look at how he responds. He could have easily taken charge of the frame. When somebody insults you like that, you need to learn some kind of verbal judo. Use their own force against them. He doesn't do that. He just tries to take the hit. Not gonna work well. Listen to this.
Cat chat. Actually, Parker, she likes my Barry the Cat stories. You like my Barry the Cat stories, right?
He's actually giving the power that he holds there to another person, to the person they're talking about. Like, you're not bored, right? That's the emotional undertone.
Hey, before you know it, you're gonna want one of your own.
Cats hate me. Sorry, Bailey. Writing a new access code.
Yeah, he lost the frame, clearly. Now, I'll give you the technique you can use to just easily overrule this. I'll cover the response in the frame control video, because this is a prime example of what not to do when somebody challenges you like that, even if it's for fun. The third and last clip for this section, it's actually a funny one. Although if you are highly sensitive to the female-male dynamics and think this is rude, you're out of your mind. Mike Ross, which is the guy, proposed to Rachel Zane, which is her. And let's see what plays here.
I can't stop staring at it.
Oh, I noticed.
Yeah, so will everyone else.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the point. For everyone to realize that you're my property.
As you can see, it is said in a very fun manner. Their bond is strong enough to take these kind of jokes. They're not getting triggered like all these... Yeah, let's leave that to the side. Listen closely.
Okay, are you saying you own me now?
Are you saying you own me now? Now, if you're not confident as a human being, if you're not confident as a man in this case, you'd be like, oh, I didn't mean to offend you. No, 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 no. He doesn't do that. He takes full charge of it. Hell yeah, that's what I mean. Listen to it.
Oh, hell yeah. And this here is just like a little collar for your finger.
Not only does he say that he means it, he even exaggerates it even further. It's like a collar for your ring. What you saw was also the technique that I'm about to give you, the golden ticket technique. But before I do that, I want you to know, if you look at this iceberg and this is who you are as a person, and everything above in the iceberg is the things that people see about you, learning body language, verbal dominance, frame control are all the more superficial outer shell layer approach to life. You can go from the outside in, but if you try to make this gold-plated, you try to polish it and make it beautiful, it's way less effective as when you will working on all the other aspects underneath it. Your productivity, the way you look at life, the person you want to be, a vision for your life, your finance, your businesses, you name it. This deeper aspect is something that this channel is primarily focused on for a solid reason. And on Instagram, I'm more focused on showing you guys more about dapper, classy men's styles. In terms of fashion, in terms of the way you dress, in terms of the way you act, in terms of the way you sit and present yourself, and a couple of more things. So make sure to go to my Instagram, shayan.vahedi, and there you can follow and support me as well. Oh, before we move to the last one, the golden ticket, and if you're wondering why you need to be able to control the frame, guys, it's not about showing somebody else you're superior. In fact, when I was working out in a previous gym, I had been working out for a long time, and I usually came there at around the same time. One day I came in a little later, and I used to sleep very, very early. So I came there 9:30ish, and this woman was in front of me. Hey, Shayan, isn't it already your bedtime? And there was a whole bunch of people sitting there at the bar. If I didn't know how to control the frame, I would be standing there, yeah, funny, haha. But what did I do? I'm gonna save that answer for the frame control video. Third one, expand and explode. This has also been known as agree and amplify. This is the golden ticket that I was talking about. Here's the first clip.
Look at you sweating it out in the law library like a first year. I didn't know you could read.
Now, Harvey here, in a fun and playful manner, is being verbally insulted. I've covered this clip, by the way, in one of the videos before. How can you respond if you were him? Here's the technique. Expand and explode. You accept their frame and you expand on it. She's saying,
look at you sweating it out in the law library like a first year. I didn't know you could read.
You're so young, you're a child, I didn't know you could read. His response should expand on that. He's so dumb he can read. How can he do that? And then he has to explode that frame. This is how he does that.
I'm just looking at the pictures.
I'm just looking at the pictures. Expanding on it, exploding it very shortly. This is a very difficult example to give you, but I want to know you how you can apply this because I'm going to give it to you step by step by step. But this, if you learn it, you can shorten it down to just one sentence. He could have gone 100 other ways, but I'll cover that in the main golden ticket video. Let's look at the next one.
Just look at you, barely held together by your pills and your drink.
Now, look at how he builds it up. He is trying to lower him right there.
Just look at you, barely held together by your pills and your drink.
However, James Bond, very confident person. He knows how to self-deprecate. He knows how to expand on it. He listed 2 things that were bad about him. He adds a third one in a joking manner. We can read more in this third one actually, but let's keep it for what it is now.
Just look at you, barely held together by your pills and your drink.
Don't forget my pathetic love of country.
Don't forget my pathetic love for my country.
Don't forget my pathetic love of country.
Expanding, exploding the frame. The last clip that I'm going to show you is a clip that shows all the techniques we have covered thus far. The analogies, similes, and metaphors, frame control, and expand and explode. See if you can spot them yourself. I'll be breaking this video down more in the future.
Well, looks like you're making yourself comfortable in my offices.
Again, comfortable in my offices. Look at his body language. Feet up the chair as if he's owning this place.
About as comfortable as possible in these chairs. You ever hear of lumbar support?
I get it. You like stodgy and functional. But these are my chairs, just like this is my case.
What exactly are you doing here, Jessica?
I'm here to tell you we're taking half the contingency.
And I'm here to respond. I'm giving you a third.
We brought this case to you.
After you found it in a box crying for his mama.
Now, they get into a little battle.
Plus, I'm footing the bill, which means this fee discussion is over.
Well, this fee discussion may be over, but the power discussion is just getting started.
And Jessica Pearson deliberately loses the first one, but he's making him work for it.
You don't give a shit about the money, do you?
and eventually comes to the conclusion that she wasn't interested in that at all.
You don't give a shit about the money, do you?
Also see her now closing the distance, which we've covered in the previous body language video. It can be read as a very hostile move. Also could be read as interest, as someone is leaning in.
On this particular case, all I give a shit about is keeping you in check. Which means for the duration of this matter, you will be treating Mike Ross like a partner.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. That boy barely shaves.
Yeah.
How can she respond to that? That boy barely shaves. By the way, Mike Ross is her employee. That boy barely shaves. What's the frame here? The frame is, he's so young he can't even shave. Now, Jessica Pearson needs to expand and explode this. The frame needs to be expanded. He's so young. Okay, let's make him even younger and then explode the entire frame. This is the answer.
That boy barely shaves.
Yeah, I don't care if he's still in diapers.
I don't care if he's still in diapers. Again, he's so young he can't shave. I don't give a shit. He could be in diapers. You see how this works, guys? It's a very easy framework. You always have instant responses if you learn how to practice this over and over again. Alright friends, those were the 3 highly effective verbal skills of highly charismatic people. Coming back to the question, shy on these things are scripted, they are fake, they are media examples. What I want you to understand is this. Imagine you have 6 apples, and then they're divided amongst 3 people. How many apples per person would that leave? 6 divided by 3 is 2, right? Now you come along and say, well, no, this was an imaginative exercise. There are no apples, so the answer is 0. Technically you might be correct, but it doesn't mean that the principles being taught, in this case for math, are incorrect. The same thing applies to these examples in media. They are highly curated, but once you grasp the principles, you're able to spot them in your own life. The same is true for body language, even though the movies and scenes are not real, just like those apples weren't. It doesn't mean the principles are not correct. So keep that in your mind. I will elaborate on this more. I have to go and do something before I go to bed. And then another work day tomorrow. I'll see you in the next video. As always, keep striving for excellence.